64,000 is the median number of words per book. Average person reads about 200 words per minute. Simple math will tell us that is one book in 320 minutes. To accomplish this in 7 days, numbers say you would have to read for 45 minutes a day. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that notification button, like, comment, and share. Enjoy.
Hello, and happy day. How does slowing down sound to you today? Would you like to reduce the noise for just a bit? Are you ready to make a choice and decide to listen? My name is Igor S.F. Walker. I am here to remind people to slow down, to reduce the noise, to walk their lives into a natural flow. Welcome back to the Book of the Week series. Every week, as I read another amazing title, I share it with the world. And today, we look at negative self-talk and how to change it by Shad Helmstetter Ph.D. In this video, we look at the most important discoveries on the subject of negative self-talk and how to change it, and its profound effect on our individual lives, as described by the one person that studied this phenomenon in more depth than any other human being, dead or alive. There is no greater path you can walk, no greater goal you can achieve, and no greater purpose you can find than to live up to the promise you were born to fulfill. Stick around till the end. I will share with you some tools I have and use that will help you tremendously in this game of life. Discover a way to find out what actually motivates you, what innate human need is driving all of your decisions and your behavior. I will share some tools to improve your self-awareness, social awareness, self-management, and relationship management. Number one, all of us were programmed from birth on, and we end up living out the programs we received. Number two, from the moment you were born, everything you heard, everything you thought, and everything you said out loud or to yourself was temporarily recorded in your brain. Number three, the messages you received that were repeated frequently were physically and chemically wired into your brain. We refer to those repeated messages as programs. The more often those programs were repeated, the stronger they were wired into your brain. Number four, it is estimated that during the first 18 years of your life, if you grew up in a reasonably positive home, as much as 77% of the programs you received were negative. Whether those programs, and whatever those programs were, many of them are still with you today. Number five, the part of the brain that stores the programs you received doesn't know the difference between something that is true and something that is false. The brain is designed to act on the strongest programs it receives, as though they are true, whether they're true or not. Number six, as much as 90% or more of your programs are unconscious and are completely hidden from you. Number seven, along with your genes and your experiences, you are the result of the programs you received. Number eight, everything you believe, everything you think, everything you say, and everything you do is the result of the programs you received, both from others and from yourself. Number nine, your self-talk right now is a replay of the programs you have that are the strongest. Number 10, Negative self-talk is the combined result of the negative programs you received from others and those you gave to yourself. Most of them are unconscious. Number 11, because of its neuroplasticity, your brain is designed to continually rewire itself throughout your lifetime. And number 12, if you have programs that are negative and are working against you, you can change them. You can rewire them and replace them with different, more positive, and more successful programs. Negative self-talk is everywhere. We are in the middle of an epidemic of it, and it is getting worse. Negative self-talk is so widespread that Dr. Helmstetter names it negative self-talk disorder. Negative self-talk is anything you think or say that looks at something from a perspective of what will not work instead of what can work. Anything you think or say that over-focuses on your fears instead on your strengths. Anything you think or say about yourself that repeatedly focuses on faults or flaws instead of positive qualities. Anything you think or say that causes you to see your world as filled with problems instead of opportunities and positive choices. Anything you think or say that limits you from being or achieving anything that is real and possible. Anything you think or say that limits your belief in yourself or your future. Negative self-talk is almost always self-defeating. It sets you up for failure. It anticipates failure. It expects failure like it's a sure thing. So when you practice negative self-talk, even when you don't know you are doing it, you are literally wiring your brain to fail. And your brain will do just what it is wired to do, whether you mean it or not. If you repeat something in the negative often enough, your brain wires it in and thinks it is true. And when your brain thinks it is true, it becomes true for you, even though it wasn't true in the first place. Occasional negative thinking can be a general down attitude that is brought on by some bad news, some depression or anxiety. But negative self-talk itself becomes a habit unless you do something about it. It grows, and in time, it stays with you. The important key here is we are not born to think negatively. We learn to think that way. When we look into the eyes of those infants, what we see is unlimited opportunity and possibility. They have their entire lives in front of them. Their potential is infinite. It is clear that each of those infants was born to succeed. No one is born to fail. In fact, everything about those little infants is designed to help each of them reach their highest potential. Then, even as they leave the warm, comfortable safety and security of their birth bassinet, and then a short stay in the hospital room, the first moments of the infant's programming begin. From the mother's first words to the television screen in the corner of the room, the messages begin to come in. During the next 18 years of their lives, each of those children, if they grew up in a reasonably positive home, will be told no or what he or she cannot do, or what will not work for them, an estimated 148,000 times. Along with that, there will be thousands more messages that tell the child who they are and what to believe about the world around them. To the child's brain, whatever they experience or are told often enough begins to form a picture of who that child believes himself or herself to be, and what is true about anything. About anything they think will be governed by their repeated programs they have received. And it doesn't make any difference if the programs they received are actually true or not. With enough repetition, those programs become true in the child's brain. People who argue against this will tell you that it was life's challenges, its ups and downs, that got in the way and changed the infant who failed. And they would say that it was good luck or fortune that interceded and made the successful person successful. Or they might say that it was just a difference in the two individuals' DNA. But that is not the answer. The person who receives better, healthier, more positive programs will over time virtually always do better than the person who receives negative, unhealthy programs. If you do know someone who is doing really well year after year and continues to do so in spite of challenges, that's programs. If you know someone who is failing time after time, continues to do so, and cannot seem to get life right, that's programs. The problem is that negative self-talk disorder is an unconsciously acquired disorder that becomes physically, chemically wired into your brain. It becomes an actual disorder, faulty wiring in the brain. And if you do nothing to change it, it not only stays, it also gets progressively worse. It becomes part of your programs. It follows the rules under which your brain operates. Because negative self-talk disorder is a progressive disorder. It usually starts gradually, and unless it is dealt with and reversed, it progresses to more and more unhealthy programs until those programs, added together, do become a way of life. Neuroplasticity refers to your brain's ability to form new neural networks and connections based on new inputs. This process takes place throughout your lifetime. Now, this means that your brain is always learning and is always changing. New learning or experiences actually changes the physical structure, the wiring of your brain. Now, the key here is that research in the field of neuroscience has identified the link between your thoughts and how your brain is wired. What you experience, what you think, and what you say changes the synaptic connections in your brain. And that means that what you have been thinking and saying, without being aware of it, has been wiring and changing your brain. Deep inside the workings of the human brain, there is no actual truth. The part of the brain that stores all of the messages you have received accepts what it is told most often. It then plays back to you the strongest messages it has received. And it plays those messages back to you as truth or fact, whether the messages are actually true or not. What you do believe about anything is not a measure of its correctness. What you believe about anything is a measure of the programs you have that support your belief. We have learned from the field of neuroscience that because of the brain's neuroplasticity, its ability to continue to change itself throughout your lifetime, the most important chemical process necessary to wiring or rewiring the brain is repetition. The brain is designed to pay attention to and store the messages that are repeated most often. The brain stores and wires in repeated messages that you end up believing things about you that you tell yourself most often. The complete you that you believe you are today is the combined result of years of messages, both from the world around you and, most importantly, from your own self-talk. Some of the messages your brain received about you may have been true, but many other messages your brain received were not true at all. And if the programming of your brain is based on repetition, and if your own self-talk is negative, what is the only outcome you can predict? The key to failure is the repetition of a belief in failure. Negative self-talk is the repetition of a belief in failure. People who have trained their brains to think in the positive actually wire more neural networks into the left prefrontal cortex of their brain. That's a part of the brain that helps you seek options and alternatives, and it helps you find a better way to deal with the problems and puts you into positive action. People who habitually think in the negative wire more neural networks into the right prefrontal cortex of the brain. Now, that's a part of the brain that causes you to shut down your options and get the heck out of there. It puts you into the escape mode, fight or flight mode, and it stops you from taking the action you should be taking. If you have negative programs now, can they be changed? Can you create more positive programs in your brain? And most importantly, what specific steps can you follow to get rid of old negative programs and at the same time create positive new programs? Even if some of your negative programs have been with you for years, perhaps a lifetime, because of the brain's plasticity, it does not take years to erase or replace them. Replacing negative programs often takes only weeks, not years. Since you got your current programs through repetition, you can create new programs in the same way. By using repetition, you can create any new program you choose. Step 1, monitor. As you're getting started, for the next 30 days, monitor your self-talk as it is now. Listen to everything you think and everything you say. What is the first thing you usually say to greet each day? What goes through your mind when the traffic light turns red? How do you react when your child comes home with a bad grade? What goes through your mind when someone disagrees with you? What is the last thing you think before you go to sleep at night? The purpose of creating the habit of monitoring your self-talk is to become mindful. Becoming consciously mindful of your self-talk is the first step in changing it. Step 2, edit. Each time you catch yourself saying or thinking anything that is harmfully negative, do the following. Stop and restate it in the positive. As an example, imagine that you've just made a mistake and you hear yourself saying something like, "I am so stupid." Immediately replace it with, "That is not like me. I am smarter than that." See, the negatives in the examples are replaced with clear positive statements that give new direction to your brain. When you edit your self-talk in this way, you're not lying to yourself. By replacing the negative thought with positive, you are rewiring your brain with an accurate picture of how you choose to be, the new picture of you that you are now creating. You're not kidding yourself. You're setting the record straight. And step number 3, listen to self-talk. In the brain, learning positive self-talk utilizes the same processes as learning a new language. Through repeated listening and then practicing what you are learning. Repetition is the key. When you listen to positive self-talk, about 10 to 15 minutes each day, you will be giving clear, positive, new messages to your brain. And because of the daily repetition, your brain will begin to override and replace the older negative self-talk programs which had been dominant. I am in control of my life, and I like who I am. That is me. That is who I choose to be. I allow nothing to stand between me and my most positive self-esteem. Every morning when I awake, I make the conscious choice to feel good about myself all day. I have learned to say the words of self-talk which tells me I like myself. I love myself. I'm glad to be me. Today is my day. Imagine your own brain receiving those kinds of messages every day with enough repetition to wire them in as absolute truths about you. They bring to life a person you were born to be in the first place. The combination of wording, repetition, and emphasis increases the amount of neural networks that are being formed and activated in your brain, which increases the strength of the programmed messages you are receiving. When you begin working on the areas of the self-talk that are most important to you, other areas of your brain will begin to get in tune and duplicate the same kind of positive activity. So start with the self-talk you want to work on most, and then stay with it. When you do, additional areas of your self-talk will begin to follow. You can only make the best choices when the majority of your mental programs are aligned with the primary underlining choice to deal with life in a positive way. It seems like such a simple thing, that one small choice. I choose to change my self-talk. I choose to deal with my life in a positive way. But it is one of the most important choices you can ever make. It is profound. It is life-changing. The problem is that deciding to look at life that way is one thing. Actually doing it is another. In order to support your new goal, what happens next is almost entirely controlled by the old programs you already have that may see your life differently. Unless you choose to take control of your own mental programming processes, the result is inevitable. The programs you have now are controlling you, not the other way around. Your brain doesn't care whether you believe it or not. If you change the repeated messages you give to your brain, it will record them, wire them, and act on them. It has no choice. When you make the choice to change your self-talk, you actively reclaim the promise of the unlimited potential that you were given when you were first born. changing your self-talk is something virtually anyone can do. And the process starts with one small but incredibly important step. Make the decision to begin with one of the most important phrases of self-talk you can ever say. I choose to change my self-talk. Always remember, you never lose the incredible promise and potential you were born with. Ever. You never lose it. It just gets buried under the programs you have that are covering it up. But it is still there. Right now, wherever you are in your life, you still have every bit of that promise and that potential within you. And you still have the rest of your life in front of you. And there you have it. Negative self-talk and how to change it. Please do help out. It is easy. Simply like this video so more people can enjoy it. Share it too and spread the word. Leave a comment and share your thoughts. Subscribe to my channel and stay up to date. And the link to this book is in the description below. So buy it, read, and never stop learning. Especially learning about yourself and nature. So gift yourself by taking the free human needs test on my website and find out what actually motivates you. What innate human need is driving all of your decisions and your behavior. And if you feel you are ready to improve your self-awareness, social awareness, self-management, and relationship management even further, do check out my Master of Life Awareness program. The links are in the description below. Thank you. Love and respect.